back before I served jail time for stealing KFC's original recipe chicken recipe.
Help me!
Did you know that before the release of Sonic 2, if you visited the McDonald's website, they featured a section advertising their Happy Meal toy, and here, a figure of Super Sonic would be shown weeks before the movie's release. Months before the first trailer for Thor Ragnarok, a Lego set revealed the fact that Hulk would be in the movie with gladiator armor. Before the release of Justice League, a piece of merchandise would begin selling a black and white Superman hat. The description of the hat would reveal the fact that Superman would be revived in the movie with the iconic black and white resurrection suit. No matter what movie it is, sometimes the merchandise itself can spoil aspects of the plot before the trailers had even come out, and some of these spoilers are more egregious than others. Before the release of Star Wars The Phantom Menace, Lucasfilm would release the motion picture soundtrack for the movie. Now the soundtrack itself wasn't a spoiler, but the name of the tracks themselves. As you know, oftentimes, certain pieces of music in a movie are named after the scenes they're present within. This was the case for Phantom Menace, as when you took a look at the back of the soundtrack and scanned through it all the way to track 15, you'd find a piece of music called Qui-Gon's Noble End. If you were watching the trailers at the time, you'd know that Qui-Gon was a character played by Liam Neeson, so this track directly spoiled the fact that he'd die in the movie. Well, perhaps you were in denial about these spoilers. Maybe Qui-Gon's end didn't necessarily mean he'd die in the film. Well, unfortunately for you, the very next track was literally called Qui-Gon's Funeral, so there was no way to cope with the fact that a soundtrack spoiled a major reveal.
The Bat! In an all-new, larger-than-life feature film.
In 1993, Warner Brothers announced and revealed the first trailer for Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, an animated movie seemingly detailing Batman's early years. In the trailer, there was a character called the Phantasm, a white-cloaked figure with a skull mask, seemingly killing different criminals in Gotham City. Now, the trailer and other promo material tried to frame the Phantasm as this mysterious figure that Batman would have to uncover the identity of. However, we'd learn who the Phantasm was weeks before the movie's release. The toy company Kenner would release a series of action figures for the movie, like Batman, and one of these costumes appeared to show Andrea Beaumont in a Phantasm costume. So clearly Andrea Beaumont was the Phantasm in the movie, completely destroying any anticipation viewers might have had over the film's central mystery. When Sony was promoting The Amazing Spider-Man early on, they tried their best to hide Lizard's appearance. It wasn't clear why this was the case, but perhaps they wanted the look to be a surprise to fans, or maybe they understood that the look would be divisive. Well, this was pretty short-lived, as the candy company Pez would have one of their Amazing Spider-Man models leak, revealing what Lizard looked like in the movie. This weird, strange, humanoid figure, likely someone from Britain, that did not quite look like a lizard. Though, since this was a Pez dispenser model, we couldn't really judge.
Oh my goodness!
Okay, so this official material taken at Comic-Con also leaked, confirming that the Pez dispenser was accurate in depicting the lizard's design. There's no doubt that there was heavy anticipation for Captain America: Civil War leading towards its release, and many understood that the film was hiding many surprises that would shock those who saw it. However, one of the surprises would be spoiled early on, as a Lego set for Civil War completely spoiled the fact that Ant-Man would become Giant Man in the movie during the airport battle. During the promo for Wonder Woman, many fans were under the impression that the character Dr. Poison would serve as the film's main antagonist. However, the news of Dr. Poison being the main antagonist would be derailed pretty quickly, as reports would release that actor David Thewlis would be the antagonist instead. This was a spoiler, considering that his character was clearly framed as a good guy. We'd get spoiled even more about his character pretty soon, as at the New York Toy Fair, an action figure would be revealed showing that Thewlis was actually playing Ares in disguise, completely ruining the movie's major twist weeks in advance. So the next time you're heavily anticipating a film, perhaps consider avoiding any McDonald's Happy Meal site, or just completely avoid the internet altogether.